Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in the last video, we have discussed about Microsoft 365 groups and how we can use those groups in the teams and how that can be utilized, or we can say grouping, chatting kind of things. So apart from that, the couple of more things that we can also do in the Microsoft 365 groups, where we can configure a group expiration policy. Suppose there's a project or something and you want that the group remains active for a certain time duration or certain time period or a specific life cycle time span. If we want that, we can also configure it. How we can configure it? Just you have to go to let me just quickly show you as well. So you have to just go to portal, and here you have to open Microsoft Azure portal, not the this one. Just you can open portal.azure.com. Sorry, I think I mistyped this. Okay, that will bring you to the Microsoft Active Directory of your Office 365 or Microsoft 365. So in that you have to open the Azure Active Directory from the services structure. That will brings you basically to the your manager. You can see the Azure Active Directory. So just we can even click on view. So this is my environment that is associated with 365. For that, this one is the Active Directory for the section. You can see the mod administrator is the global admin for this. So what we can do, just go to the groups and you can see whatever the groups we have created in the last video. If you have not watched the last video, you can just take the link from the description box, and we have done this creation of these groups. So let me just click on the same. From here, you can setting up the things or the policy configuration. You can see the direct members, group membership, owners, all these things are there. Group links related to cloud, SharePoint, Teams. So the basic information which is written over here. Once I clicked on this, and we can just go back to the group, and we have to configure it the expiration policy, or we can say a expiration limit for the this specific group. So let me just quickly show you here. Okay, this is the group where once I clicked on this, you can see there's a setting name general and then expiration. Once I clicked on the expiration, it's not configured or not set. Okay, so we can customize this from as per requirement. Number of days you can define it. Should be value should be greater than or equal to 30. Lifetime you can see 365 days, 180 days. We can set it 25, it will show the error. Okay, if I set it 30, it will take it 45. So you can define the custom value, but that must be as per recommendation. Okay, so here you can define it customized value, and if you want to take the default two parameters, you can take it from there. Here you can see the enable expiration of these Microsoft 365 groups. So we can also select it, or we can also assign it from the section, like as a set of you can say groups if you want to add it for multiple groups, a same policy. So renewal link will be there. Suppose if the project is getting extended or something, then that can be possible to extend later on. It's not mandatory. Even you can disable it. It would be totally depend on your organization size and your organization requirement to set up this configuration. Okay, then just quickly move next. Microsoft Teams usage report. So this will gives you for the to execute this, you must have a any of this particular required role access permission. Then you can able to use view the user level activities, device level, team usage or live events. Even you can see the PSTN configuration, PSTN usage, and all those stuffs as well. So for that, what you have to do, you have to go to the reporting section of Microsoft Teams, and from there you can view the Microsoft Team reports. So let me quickly show the usage. Even same, you can see the Microsoft 365 usage report as well through Power BI integration. This is also possible. How we can generate the report or how we can see the report, let me quickly show you before going to authentication section. So you can see this is the Microsoft Teams dashboard where analytics and the reporting section is there. You can see the usage report. Select the report type, apps usage, select the date range from here. Last 7 days, up to last 90 days, you can run the report and you can see it. Okay, I'm not used much over here. Teams device usage, Teams usage. Let me just quickly show you. You can see two number of active users, two number of active channels. Okay, SPL. Okay, this is the configuration where you can move it to over here. 365 dashboard is also have a couple of report sections. From here you can also see the usage report of your 365 where Microsoft Teams is mentioned. So we can see the utilization section of Microsoft Team as well. You can see because we have done the chats only, so it's giving the chats. It doesn't have because it's not a live production environment that I'm showing it here. So does not have actual lot of data. But yes, for just for the information purpose, we have this data. If you want to see the more details or the more data, then obviously you can see the production environment, or you have to run the simulations, or you have to run the activities or do the activities. Then only you can get more details on the team report and usage. A specific type of usage in the team reporting, if I talk about here, like team user activities are there. You can see the PSTN and the device and all those things as well. So that report can be utilized from here. You can even download those reports as well once you configure and save it. Just quickly move to the next topic what we have. Okay, in the Microsoft 365 or Teams authentication, if I talk about, we have a cloud-based identity synchronized or the foundation authentication. In the cloud identities, obviously, as we know that the authentication and everything is managed by Microsoft Azure AD, and user credentials are exist in the cloud identity only. We have a synced identities. In the synced identities are the accounts that exist in the on-premises AD and sync to Microsoft Teams. You can also refer my Office 365 series related to my uh, Microsoft Office environment only, where I have shown the details of AD Connect and AD Sync and all. So in the same channel that is available Office 365 series where you will get the more information how to sync and authenticate and confirm the authentication method through AD Connect. I will try to put the link out in the description box as well. So from there you can check it out how the AD Connect is working. Then we have a Federation Authentic Identities option as well, where the user account and everything exists on the on-premises. When the user is trying to log in the Office 365, the request would be redirected to uh, on-premises server, and then further on-premises Active Directory authenticate user, send the confirmation token back to cloud that so the users can able to access their data. Now the last the in the same thing you can also add the multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication where the authentication is not only dependent on the username and the password, that also have a additional functionalities such as biometrics, such as OTP base, or a link that is an authenticator app as well. So the couple of ways through which you can implement a multi-factor authentication. like more than one way to authenticate users. Uh, User must have to perform two or three uh, ways at the same time, so then user only can able to access it. It could be a OTP, could be a link that is sent to a smartphone, that could be a biometric device that used for authentication as well. So that can be possible in this. So authentications can be configured in the same way. That is for Office 365 or Microsoft 365. It's not something that is specific to the team, but it is for everyone. So you can also configure the conditional access policy that is available in your Azure Active Directory. To configure the conditional access and multi-factor authentication, conditional access is the same, where you can put some conditions like you want that the users should be from this IP range, like from the internal network, or they must have some a specific device level restrictions. They must have a specific group membership, then only they can able to log in. So these are the some conditional access things that you can configure as well in Microsoft 365, and that have you have to configure it from Azure AD. So let me just quickly move and show you the Azure AD portal through which you can configure a. So this is my Azure Active Directory from where I can configure the conditional access configuration as well. So in that, what you have to add it here as well. Once you go in the Azure Active Directory, you can see some security configurations that are mentioned here. Okay, this is. Once you click on security, you can see the conditional access section is available here. Even from MFA methods and all those configurations are also mentioned. Let me just quickly click on the security back. I will discuss the further options for later on. In the meantime, first click on the conditional access where we can see no policies exist here. Let me just create a new policy here. So I can create a conditional access policy from here, and we can assign the policy to users as well. All users, selected group of users whom you want to assign, users or groups. Okay, we can see if you want to assign specifically to the specific users, you can select it in that way. If you want for the guest for them or directory rules, you can take it in that way as well. Then apps, if you want to select a specific type of apps like load apps or all apps, user action where you want to include, if any inclusion or exclusion you want to put. Conditions, the third section, where this is the most important part, what we can configure in the this section, where we can configure our device platforms. Okay, you want that the users can only access it through Android or through iOS or through Windows OS or through Mac OS only. You can configure the platform. The same way you can configure, let me quickly discard it. Okay. We can also configure on the basis of specific locations. We can configure on the basis of apps, device states. It's still in the preview state right now. Here you can configure the user risk categorization, sign-in risk. So that would be a set of algorithms that are performed by the Microsoft in the background where you can apply it. Now here you can see the enable policy on or the report only. In the report only, it will not restrict. It will just report the same thing. But if you put it in on, then it will be enforced to users. Okay, I have not selected the grant permission. So settings are not implemented the completely. We first have to set up this, and then access control, we have to configure it, block or grant access. That is also one more important thing which is related to the access control. Can create it. In the same way, what else? You can see the test policy is created. Let me just go back on my users. In the users also, we can enable the multi-factor authentication and their configuration settings. And we can watch the sign-in activities and all those stuff as well. I will create a complete fresh video related to specifically to Azure Active Directory where I will show all these things, how we can do. Here you can see the role assignment methods. You can see the authentication method where we can register user require for register for MFA, where we can configure the MFA specific to this particular user configuration. So the things is or settings you can configure it appropriate as per your requirement for specific user accounts. Assigning roles, Microsoft Team admin roles, you can also assign it from Microsoft 365 Admin Center or even from your Azure portal as well. So what we can do in the same section where you can see Azure role assignment. Currently, it's not assigned anything here because your role is not loaded. We can see. Let me just quickly go and show you from Office 365. That is from here. And from here, you can assign the role to a specific user. Like same way we are using it. And if you have a AD level licensing available for the user, then you can also assign the role from there as well. Like the permission assignment, you can see the manage roles. And from here, you can assign the specific type of role. These are the default roles. If you have a specific permission in, or you can say a license for Azure AD, then you can also assign the role in the Azure AD as well. Right now, I have not assigned the license. That's why it's not giving me an option to assign it here. From here, you can see the default roles are available that we can assign it. These are related to Microsoft 365. If you have a specific Azure license, you can assign the roles from this section as well for any of the user where you would like to assign roles and the permission. Subscription licensing is not assigned. That's why it's not giving me an option to add it here. This is what. Now the next important section that is related to the implementing of threat management for Microsoft Teams. In the Microsoft Teams threat management, we have Microsoft 365 or Office 365 advanced threat protection that helps you to block your emails, URLs, and a lot of activities that you can restrict it that can be considered as malicious, or you can say if someone's trying to send in malwares or any viruses and all those things, even the harm URLs that can also be a uh, you can say the- can be harmful for your environment if the user can click on those. So that can be fixed. You must have a security administrator or Office 365 global administrator permissions to perform the ATP level security policies and those settings. That can be configured, and you can also see the specific alerts and the reporting for Microsoft Teams. That is also available with the MS Teams. How we can configure this ATP and all those settings? Let me just quickly go back and to my environment and show you. Uh, Let me just quickly go back to my portal. Okay. In the Office 365, let me leave it without saving. We have one security center and the security and the compliance functionality available. Even you can also open the Azure Active Directory from here, which I just go to the portal and then open it. The shortcut is also available here, which I just talked about. This is okay. So let me just go to the Microsoft Security and the Compliance Center where you can see a lot of options are available. With the help of these options, we can perform the set of administrative activities. Those are related to security aspects. Microsoft is giving you this is the protection.office.com. This is the section where you can perform the set of security activities. And apart from that, Microsoft is also giving you an option that is security.microsoft.com. You can go to the security.microsoft.com. So from there, you can configure the Defender level configuration or a Microsoft ATP Defender configuration settings. First, you can just go to this page. You can see there's the threat analysis, secure score, your default score for the environment. It shows because I have not configured a lot of things, so it's giving me a risk. This is the one of the best section portal that basically MS is providing for Microsoft. You can just go to this security.microsoft.com and that will gives you a Microsoft 365 Security Center complete information and the details. Now, what we have to do, go to the just policy and see. I need to just set up, suppose I need to just set up a safe attachment list configuration policy and all. So how we can do that? I need to configure the same. For this, let me just click in this thread, sorry, policies and rules. We have a thread policies. And once I clicked on the thread policy, you can see anti-phishing, anti-spam, anti-malwares, and safe attachment. Suppose I clicked on the safe attachment, I can configure a safe attachment policies for the users. Like with this option, what you can do, you can create a new thread policy, safe attachment policy. Same as if I go to the thread policies once again, you can see the anti-spam policies, anti-malware policies, safe links option is available here. So the things from here, you can just go ahead and create a policy from as per your requirement. Where you have a protection settings, let me just quickly go through this option as well, just to show you here. You can add the users, at least one. Let me add user one. Normally same structure, you must follow the group or the domain. Okay, so from here you can configure the protection configuration settings. Same as if I go in safe attachment, you can also see the safe attachment policy section, where if I create settings, okay, you can also configure the configuration and the setting that is available here. So in Microsoft Defender or Microsoft 365 Defender, that is security.microsoft.com, little bit different URL. So you make sure you must have a same once you are going to access it, this portal, because this is slightly different as compared to Microsoft normal security center. This is the security, that is security and the compliance sector, protection.office.com, and this is the thread policy or Microsoft 365 Defender that also required a licensing and the configuration as well, not only limited to this, but it has more options. We have just going back on this, we can configure like this is what I just discussed on this. And now if I go to the Microsoft Security Center, we have identity data and apps level configuration. We can also see the status reports and the malware alerts as well. So that can be uh, available. If I can see it here, you can see the reporting section, audit and the health structure as well. From here, we can see the security reports as well. This is a default structure report. And if I go on the reports, where you can see the email and collaboration like DLP policies and all those structures as well available here. You can see the mail flow summary. I will try to create a separate video regarding Office 365 Defender and the security section. We can also create retention policies. The retention policies is basically just to if you want to keep and retain the set of messages for a certain time duration or for a certain time period. So for this, in Microsoft Office Compliance Center, we have to go to Microsoft Security and the Compliance Center. That is this one. In the Compliance Center, we have an option for the data retention as well. So either you can open it from this, or if you want, you can also open it from a direct URL, that is compliance.microsoft.com. So let me just quickly show you the same here. You can click on retention to open this, or if you want, you can directly type compliance.microsoft.com. That will also gives you the same location. You can see information governance and information governance. So from here we can set up this kind of configuration like the policies and the retention policy configuration and all. So once I click on this, you can see the reports and the alerts as well. From here you can even You can configure the alerts, you can configure the policies. So let me just click on the policies and you can see the access and the retention. Even we can configure the DLP policies as well related to data loss prevention. Basically DLP and retention, these are the two aspects. Let me just quickly show you the difference on this. So retention is the certain time duration for which you want to retain the data, and the second one is DLP, data loss prevention, that will restrict to send the specific type of message outside to your organization or the configuration set of group whatever you have in place. Just like in Microsoft Exchange, we have an option to put it the same way the team will also restrict it. And this configuration can be designed for entire 365 environment. Okay, before going to alert, just I am going to show you here. So this is what we have a DLP and the retention policies. Once I click on the retention, we can create a new retention policy. Just type the name and see for which you would like to apply, like for all the applications, like for the Exchange, Sky for Business, Teams, from where you want that it should be included, what you want to include or exclude, you can also define it from here. Once I clicked on next, we can set the policy for the duration. If you want to put a custom duration to retain the specific time of period, you can define it. Delete it items automatically or do nothing, that will keep remain still available after that. So these are the set of conditions and that you can apply it, and the whatever sections you have identified here in the location box, that this policy will be applicable to the same location or same structure. Let me quickly cancel it and back to location. Same as the way if I go in the policies, we can see the data loss prevention option is available through which we can define the DLP policies as well. Default DLP is configured here, but if I want to create a custom policies, there are a couple of basic templates like financial, medical, health, like GDPR and all those things, HIPAA, GDPR. So these are the basic level templates that are predefined and configured. So you can identify those templates and you can choose the template as per your requirement. Or if you want to define a custom policy, you can define a custom policy where you have to configure all the things and as per your requirement. Same as the location, you can identify for where it should be applicable. Then we have a create a customized policy from this location. In the customized policy, you have to define the custom rules as per your requirement. What would be the condition? What would be the exceptions if you need to add anything? Rest, you have to add action. So the action and the condition, those are the two most important things. Couple of additional things are also available, like additional incident reports, overrides. So this information once you put, then you can apply the policy from here. DLP policies. We have an option to implement the security and the compliance alert as well, specifically for talking about Microsoft Teams here. If you want to put this, it can be placed for entire environment as well. It's not something that is only limited to the team. So to implement this, creation of this security compliance alert, in the same way, we have to go back to our, let me quickly go back on my portal. Okay, in the Microsoft security and the compliance section, once I go there, you can see the alert option is available. From here we can validate whatever the alerts are generated, and if you go to the policies in the section of alerts, it will also brings you the same location. To create a new alert based configuration, what we have to do, we have to define the same policy as well. So click on alerts and we can see the alert policies option is there. Click on this. So the default couple of alerts, you can see it's already configured here. If you want to create a new, you can just click on the new alert policy, put the name, severity level, low, medium or high as per your requirement, category where you would like to place, or others, or mail flow, permissions, threat management, wherever you want to place this alert. Then create the alert setting over here. Alert activity like deleting the malware, create a mail, or redirect it, like change the folder file. So a lot of things are there that you can identify as per your requirement. Once you identify the set type of alert, then you can place it. It's not basically a specific that is limited to Microsoft Team. It is for the entire 365 environment where you can place it out. So that you can configure it. Once you configure it, you can also watch the alerts from this section. So this is the compliance section of your Microsoft. I will try to create another video in the more detailed section related to this compliant. But if you want to integrate the compliance things in the Microsoft Teams, you can also integrate the same from here. So guys, that's all for this video as of now, and we'll share the next video link as well in the description box, and to move some more topics related to Microsoft Teams. Till that time, thank you so much and keep watching. If you have not seen the entire series, you can just take the link from the description box and take up. Just watch the entire series of this Microsoft Team as well as previous and the next video links are there in the description box. So thank you so much.